Hi, it's the 30th of September 2018 at 6:30 p.m. I had a good day chatting in comments today. I chatted to a lot of the guys, but there were two comments that came out and both introduced topics I'd like to cover. One was from James Andrew, and the one I wanted to discuss today, was from Sun Demon. And what Sun said, we were joking around, just to and fro, just joking around over lunchtime. And as is often the case, when you sort of just mess about in a good humoured sort of way, something you'll either get up to, something that's really entertaining, or something will come out of it that I thought was important. That was actually a bit of a stunner. I can't remember exactly what his comment was. It's not that important. And actually, Son and I probably disagree on this, just to let you know. But that's not the point. Okay, because his comment was fantastic, and hopefully you'll understand why. But he made a comment like, yeah, look, the 50-50, he just said magic, the 50-50 thing is a mistake. It should be, dad first and then the wife and children under the father. Which is probably patriarchy, I suppose. And I thought, I don't actually necessarily agree with that, or even disagree with it. In fact, I don't even see that as the issue. The bit I picked up on is, that's the first time I've actually heard somebody say the 50-50 thing. And I knew exactly what he was talking about. And anybody who's older, who's been through marriage, will know what he's talking about. There's a 50-50 thing. It was a subtle change years ago, a long time ago. When it actually changed, I don't know. But there would have been a point at some stage, 100 years ago or whatever, where women didn't have the right to vote or whatever. It was probably even longer, I don't know. But women were in a different role. But somewhere along the line, there was what Sun describes as a 50-50 arrangement. And he was saying, it was no good, it didn't work, or it shouldn't have happened. You can look at it from that point of view, that it shouldn't be there at all. Or you can look at it and just think it's so damn vague, nobody knew what they were doing. We just drifted from this patriarchal situation where everybody knew their role and what to do into this 50-50 arrangement. It actually made me a little angry, because I thought, we are talking about all this equality. Mm-hmm. Equality, that's all we're hearing, equality, 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 equality. So why is Sun describing it as a 50-50 thing if there's no equality? And they said, just no equality, no equality. So, the pay scales aren't the same, or this is not the same. I thought, well, I don't know about pays or anything else like that, but, it's been 50-50 in marriage for a long time. And it hasn't worked. Sun's quite right. Whether it should never come to be, or whether it's just been poorly executed, I go with the latter. I just think it's just shocking. We've gone from one paradigm of say, patriarchy. Probably in our grandparents' time. I don't know. My grandparents, I really don't know. My parents, my mother and father, were, it was a 50-50 relationship. Yes, my father probably made, a lot of the decisions, a lot of the business, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do something else. It was always open to my mother. He always said, feel free to, weigh in any time you like. But no, she just didn't have any interest. A little bit like my wife. Same thing. But it was there. It was open, free. Yep. I've just explained, yesterday in yesterday's video. I actually said how good it was that Boomba, actually pushed me to keep doing with this. I mean, I have a free, equal relationship with her. And I'll tell you a couple of things. I thought that was interesting. Yesterday's video was interesting, brought out some interesting stuff to me, and I love the comments. And because I try to to respond to all of your comments. I feel like I'm having a conversation with you. It's really good, and it's just slowly. It's not easy to do, but you're sort of coming out with discussion points and topics that I'm happy to. I think maybe underneath it all you'd like to cover, particularly you older guys, and you younger guys. It's good for you to hear what the experience of the older guys. Okay. So and you can see what we've been through. All right, you have no interest in going to marriage, or whatever, but at the same time you can hear our experience of what's happened. And I'm not going to sit here and complain and tell you how bad my wife was. Although I will explain. I can only explain things from my own personal experience. And as regarding this equality thing, in marriage, this equal thing, I met my wife when I was an employee, but I didn't want to be an employee. I wanted to be in business for myself. I guess it was what my father did. It was also what her father wanted, and they couldn't get there. Her mother wanted to keep the house, didn't want the risk or anything else like that. But so they say. But I wanted a business. I wanted to. I'm entrepreneurial. I came from an entrepreneurial background. It's in my blood. I'm not an employee. I'm not a good one. And so at one stage, after we left the futures market and what have you, and I remember saying to her, I think of marriage and our relationship as being, I think of you like my business partner. Oh my God, was that the worst thing in the world to say? I listened for years as I was just showered with guilt that, and what I meant by that, and I explained this to her over and over again, is that that's how I see a couple, whether they're married or not. I see that as, okay, there's a little bit of love, a little bit of sex, and a little bit of that sort of stuff. It's not even 1/4% of the time that you're actually doing that. Most of it, you could almost say it's similar to running a business. Like in a household, even if you're not married, you've got to get income, and then you've got expenses. That's like a business, isn't it? You've got income, expenses, and hopefully you've got some money left over at the end of it, and that sort of thing. Yeah. Now, to me, it sounds like a business. It's not like housing's free and people just give you money, in which case it's not a business. And they say, just be in love and hold one another's hand and that sort of thing. Yeah, it doesn't happen like that. Because you've got a whole list of expenses. You've got cars to buy, you've got insurance to do, this, that, plus you've got the hassle of earning the income. It doesn't matter which way you do it. But I just couldn't get that idea for the most part, I see a relationship as a business of some kind. And that's what I was trying to explain to her. But oh my God, I was the worst in the world, and I still don't understand it. It's like, oh no, it should be something else. There was that wedding, wasn't it? The cars, the wedding breakfast, the honeymoon. Yeah, there was that at the beginning of it, and shouldn't it be, shouldn't it be different to a business relationship? But her attitude was, oh well, if that's what you want, then that's what we'll do. And I'm trying to say, no, that's just the way I look at it. That's how it should be. We're co-managers in a business relationship. That's the way I see it. I probably made a mistake yesterday. I actually framed my words incorrectly. I said, I asked Boom to be my manager, but I probably meant co-manager. And the truth of the matter is, this is just another analogy going, I probably see, I'm looking for a co-pilot. Yeah, because I see the channels as, it's like flying a plane, man. It's just so exciting. You've got that much happening. You've got all the statistics. It's just like watching an instrument panel. Plus you've got, your metrics that, sometimes you go up like a rocket. And other times you nosedive and you're still on the ground, you can't get off the ground. It's really like flying a plane. And it's just sort of like, you just want company more than anything else, just to share with. And yeah, so I sort of thought, that's what I wanted with Boom, a co-pilot. I didn't want to manage it so much, but yeah. But that's a sort of an analogy as well. That you could use that analogy for a relationship, I reckon. Pilot and co-pilot. But that's probably I want to stay away from there because a pilot is sort of the main guy. Okay, so and the co-pilot is a subordinate role. But in a marriage, I see it as equal. You're both managing a business. Now, the interesting thing is that business or pilot or plane or whatever you like to call it. I started this channel at the end of January this year, and frankly, it's gone along rather well. I've had a good time, and it's picked up. It's not making money or anything else like that, or getting billions of views, but it's to my mind, it's quite a successful little thing. Sometimes I just want to give it up because it's mgtow, and I don't want to get unpersoned. It's just a horrible feeling. Yeah, but I was thinking about it today. Now, in 6 months, for those of you who were with me from the very beginning, I used to use just a green screen, a studio edition of Manycams, the chroma key facility on that. Oh, the wind would blow and there'd be a big swathe of green. So I'd have this pretty little scene behind me, just go, and everybody says, plus I had the green halo around my head. It was just a disaster. The microphone was in the wrong place. It was the wrong type. Half the time the guys couldn't hear what I was saying. I mean, it was just, it wasn't at all professional. It was just really amateurish. But I knew that. Okay. And still I persevered with it. Okay. One video after the next. Yeah, I try and improve it. And then eventually I got video editing software. Eventually I'll get a camera, a good camera. I'm just using a webcam at the moment. It's not bad, but it will be better with a camera. Now, had I been doing this very same channel with my wife, and I know this is how it would have gone, because I had so much experience with her, I'd be up to video number 3. Not 300 and whatever it is. That'd be video number 3. And I can guarantee you, we would have done nothing but argue since I started. Okay? Now, that's just what would have happened. To give you an idea, she would look at it and she'd say, look, you've got the green halo around your head. You can't do that. And I'd say, yeah, but no. And then we'd have a huge fight about it, which would last a week. So then I'd fiddle around with it and try and get it right, and it'd be huge, And then, oh no, look, the window came up and you got this green thing there. Oh. Yeah, we would have done more than 3 videos, but we would have done a video. There'd be a week of arguing, and I'm serious, a week of arguing. And then another video. So, I don't know how many weeks it's been since January, but that's roughly how many videos I would have done. And I used to say to her, look, I realise it's not right, and we'll get to fixing it up. But can we just get started and do something? But she couldn't. She just couldn't. It just couldn't allow it. I don't know whether it's a narcissism in her or what, but it was all about projecting an image, how it looked. And it looked terrible with the green halo and the green coming through the background. So that's what would have happened. And it would have been so stressful and so horrible. I would have not worried about content or anything else. I'd be worrying about some little insignificant thing at all, which I considered, which looking back on it, it wasn't insignificant. Yeah, it looks very unprofessional, very untidy. But I've taken the view, and I've proven to myself at least, that yeah, you get started, you get going. Yeah, you might not have the best equipment, you might not have the best, format, the best anything, but you get started and you get going, and that's, yeah, you're away. And, you're running along the runway, and it's great. But this is what would have happened with her. Now, I'm not necessarily criticising her for that. But what I thought I would look at it as, if you were to look at it as a business, which it's sort of in a sense you're doing something together, you know, you're talking to somebody, and if she was involved in it in some way, and we're making, you know, a business out of it or something like that, yeah, and the management of the business are arguing, and that's all they're doing is arguing, tearing strips off one another, which is what happened in our real business. If you look at that, and if you knew something about business, and if you'd read a few books on it, or you know shown a bit of an interest in how businesses actually work, you'd know that, you know, if you've got a management team that are arguing, yeah, they're not going to get anywhere. That's just, you just, without knowing anything else, you're just going to know that. Which, and that part actually links to what I want to address with James Andrew, what he said, you know, in another comment. But the point is, my wife had no understanding of what people did in business, had no interest in how businesses ran. In fact, she, I think, was of the opinion that management, particularly middle management, was a complete waste of time. Shouldn't be there, and, you know, the workers should just go to work and do their job and go home, and that everybody's happy. There is no need for management. That, I'd say, was her view, which probably came from her father, who was of the same opinion. Don't need management, no, waste of time, waste of money, I just need the workers. So handed down from father to daughter, yeah, that was the attitude. And I don't know how many times I said to it, no, yeah, we're arguing. We shouldn't be arguing. If all we did was stopped arguing in a business, forget the marriage, forget the marriage relationship, because argument sort of goes in a marriage, doesn't it? But in a business, if you just looked at it like a business, and the management team are all fighting, in-house, infighting it's called, and if that's all they're doing, yeah, the chances are they're not going to perform well at all, which we didn't. We performed very poorly. But I couldn't explain that to her. This is this equality thing, you know, okay, yeah, so what's equality, you know, really mean? Does it mean that, you know, she's entitled to her own opinion, we can just forget, you know, any sort of common sense or logic or, you know, any sort of, no, I don't know. But it was interesting when Son Demon made his comment. Yeah, the 50-50 thing, I thought, yeah, it was a total disaster for me. And I tried to make it work. And no doubt Son did as well. And I'm sure all of the older guys tried to yep, okay, 50-50, we'll try and make it work. But, you know, it can't work, just work. You know, oh, just 50-50, you know. If two people are going to be a part of the decision-making process, it's suddenly becoming very complex. Truth be known. In a patriarchy, I'm not saying there's anything right with or wrong with a patriarchy or a matriarchy, except I don't think it's as efficient as a management team. It's one person. Yeah, why bother having a marriage if you're going to have one person? If you're going to have a matriarchy, you know, calling the shots, well, you might as well, you know, what's the difference between that and a patriarchy? That's just one person, you know, managing the thing. So, you know, we've gone from, you know, from the patriarchy where the man managed the family and that sort of thing, and took all the majors, you know, to this unsort of spoken about, undeclared 50-50 stage, you know, where it was supposed to be a level playing, you know, not that anybody ever really spoke about it. In fact, Son, as I said at the beginning of the video, it was the first time that anybody spoke about this equality in marriage. And now they're talking about equality in marriage, yet we're going to the matriarchy. Where's the equality in marriage? We're actually going from, we're on a seesaw. Up, down. And so we've gone through this period of equality. Now we're going back into inequality, if you ask me. I mean, feel free to disagree. This is the whole point of this is to try and get a conversation going about what has happened and actually what should be happening, what could be happening even. Don't even worry about what should be happening. What could, because this is my problem when I came out of the marriage. I looked at it and thought, oh, wow, how much better could that have been? It's like getting out of a business. You think, oh God, and looking back on it, we could have done this differently, that differently. This, you know, just about everything in my marriage we could have done differently. But the first and only thing, you know, I reckon was ever necessary is to stop the argument. And so this is what I was saying about Boomba yesterday. You know, in 10 years, we've had 2 arguments. We're not lovers or anything. just friends. But in 10 years, we've had 2 arguments. One was a waste of time. The other was actually helpful, useful. I mean, what am I going to say? 2 arguments in 10 years. Oh, bad. No, I'm not going to throw her under the bus at all. No, and to say that 50% of the arguments we had were actually useful. You know, it's sort of like, no, she had a point. She's putting her foot down. She's like, yeah, so she's ignored all the detail. And this is a major difference. She's ignored all of the detail and she's honed in on the important things. And I love that. Because that's, you know, she said, no, that's important. And she's forgotten all that. Now, my wife, on the other hand, we would argue about everything. I'm not joking. We would have had, most of it would have been about any number of insignificant, pointless issues. So much so that I wouldn't even know what the significant ones were. It was to talk about, you know, cut down tall poppies, cut down everything to everything's of equal importance. So you got no idea what's important. See, when Boomba has an argument with me, I listen because she doesn't worry about all the little things. She just thinks, no, I think this is. So I listen. I go, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's significant. It's important. You know what I mean? It's like I listen to her, not about gypsies, but about stuff like that. You know, if she says that, yeah, and she thinks it's important, but she never talked about a green screen or anything else like that. No, didn't ever mention it. And so when she does talk, I listen to her. I think, yeah, I appreciate it. I think, oh, okay. But it's been a bit of a struggle because I really didn't want to do it. So, you know, we're getting a bit tense there for a while. But then in the end, I thought, all right, let's go to 1,000. Let's see what happens. And I don't know. I just think that's the way to do it. I think that's how a marriage should be. In all honesty, you know, it's you need management training, business management training. It's a business. I don't know. That's how I say. Look, just in comments, just let me know what you think. You know, how do you guys see it? Would you agree with that? You know, that it should be seen more or less as a business relationship, or if not, how should it be seen? Or should it be seen sort of as a Mills and Boon lovey-dovey thing, and you know, he buys me flowers, and I mean, what do you guys think? A marriage, how should we look at it? How should, you know, if you were talking to a woman, you know, what would you say to her? You know, I see marriage this way. You know, or do you honestly do you see it as candlelit dinners and, you know, that nice bottle of wine out of the, you know, is that how you see it? Or do you see it in a matter of fact manner, which is the way I see it? I see it as a business relationship. Let me know in comments, will you? Just how you. It doesn't matter whether you'll be married or not. Okay, that's irrelevant, or that you have been married. How did you see it, or did you see it like son saw it? You know, that no, it should be the father at the top and the wife and children underneath. You know, is that the way you see it? I'm curious because I saw it a certain way, and when Son said this, it just made me think, yeah, no, I can see what he's saying. And I was really pleased he said it. You know, the 50-50, yeah, it actually said, yeah, we've had equality all along. We've been taken for a ride. Yeah, it's just rubbish. Yeah, there's been 50-50 all along. But I'm interested now in how you see marriage and what you think it should be like. Anyway, good talking to you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.